project to fruition in that undeveloped parcel, that couple parcels that's is still in there. And then certainly the property in front of the food bank, we've been approached with a project. So I think the car traffic is gonna continue to increase. So I do think this is a good idea.
It seems reasonable that the community would get a benefit for us to contribute. It seems like maybe that's not a ton of money, in my opinion. You think, engineering fees would, I just don't know enough, that's why I keep asking this question in different ways, would exceed $10,000?
I don't think so. I have been wrong before, but I don't think so.
I just don't know the going rate for engineering fees. For sake of a straw man argument for you all to knock down, what if it's up to $10,000 for engineering fees? Does that seem fair? Is that too little, too much?
To reimburse him up to $10,000 for engineering fees, or does it go to Kessler, or does it go to the county?
Most likely the county would invoice us and we would pay the county directly.
Okay,
That feels less
yes,
prone to.
The county is usually the administrator of these types of projects.
okay.
Act 51 funds, they're often overseeing projects like this.
Well, we need some numbers.
Well, if we just recommend that we pay the engineering fees for KEBS for the project,
I don't know, it could be so up in the air, I mean, could it be 10,000, could it be 20,000, could it be 30,000? I mean, I have no
Oh,
idea.
yeah.
I
What
have
if he
no
doesn't agree
idea.
with us, and then we still have to pay the money to have that dirt or whatever we need to in that area?
In the swamp.
so do you want Karen to reach out and ask him for a number before we make a decision? Is that what you're asking for?
Or should we talk to the road commission and see what their plan was to fill in that for the sidewalks anyway? I mean, I know there's some sort of plan. I don't know what it is, but I assume that there's some sort of plan, unless the plan all along has been
I
to
think
use
that's been the plan all
Kessler.
along,
think
to
it's
be
been-
honest
I
with
think
you.
the plan all
I
along.
think that's been the plan
So
all
I don't
along.
wanna
at that
then
conversation.
derail
I think
another
it was the plan all
project.
along, but now we've got an opportunity to reconstruct the road in a better, more safe way for the community,
Okay.
which wasn't on the table before. It was just gonna be a mill and fill. They literally were just gonna chew up some asphalt and lay new asphalt. And now there's an opportunity to fix a problem that's existed forever,
So can
since
I
the road
throw
was
out
built.
a
Sorry,
suggestion?
sure.
It's kind of like an in-between maybe. If you were to call, I think it'd be saying, well, the board is looking at this point, paying your engineering fees. Does that fulfill what you're looking for? And then we could get some idea what the engineering fees would be.
Okay.
Does that sound reasonable, or do you want a more solid number or a different approach?
Would the road commission know about
I
what
could-
the engineering?
They may be able to give me an estimate. I was
It's not that I
even
think
looking
that
here.
Mr. Kessler would be dishonest, it just puts him in a weird position.
I think
to-
we've all worked with KEBS, so it's a firm that we're all familiar with. So I think, potentially Mark would have a good idea, maybe what the engineering would be.
Yeah.
And/or I could also contact Mr. Kessler.
Would it be helpful tonight to have some sort of maximum that you could run with without having to come back? Otherwise, you're not gonna have an answer for another 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, a ceiling would be nice if I could know, because then I could say yes or no.
So 8,300 is a nice 10%.
I was like, where'd you get that from?
Off the 83, huh?
Math.
1,000.
Yeah, I mean, I would propose up to 10 is our opening offer.
Okay.
And with you getting some information from our friends at the county or KEBS to
I will do that.
understand if that's like wildly offensive or right on par.
Okay.
Does that we're gonna take a vote on this, so I'm not,
And what we really get with that, where he's gonna put it and finish it.
I think the county road
Is in charge of
commission
that.
would issue the permit and they would have to
Yes.
approve. They'd have to, I can't believe that any person could just tear up the road and,
No,
and build it in
so-
their own, you know, a new way.
So the rest of the
Please, I hope
project
that's
is laid
how it
out at the bottom of page 1 onto page 2.
Yeah.
And, so the Clinton County Road Commission would be issuing the permit to Kessler Construction. And there would be the following conditions. So Clinton County Road Commission has a pretty good
Anticipation of June
hold on what needs to be done and,
Organized by end of time.
Guess I was thinking more that wasn't on the road specifically, it's
Yeah.
left over.
so Kessler at this time, on the, I think the second bullet down on the second page, KEBS will be responsible for designing, construction, engineering. KEBS will provide final design, construction, staking, material testing, and engineering certification. And then Clinton County Road Commission, looks like they'll be working with ENG, who we've also worked with in the past. But that would be theirs to, federal aid road plans, like they'll apply some different metrics to the plans to make sure they're appropriate for federal roads.
Ryan. In your talking with them about the money, why don't you, the same thing as what the county has wrote here, give them 5% to start the project and
Oh, the
5%
okay, I
at the
see.
completion of
At
the
the
project.
completion.
Start
of it.
and then final completion, yeah.
I like that. Well, in the spirit of moving us along, I'm gonna make a motion. Feel free to disagree with it. I move that we offer to pay for engineering fees up to $10,000 with 50% offered up front, 50% offered at the completion of the project. Period.
Second it.
Second,
Oh, wait, who was that?
oh, you were quicker.
Was it me?
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was me.
Is anybody massively uncomfortable with that? It does feel like, what I'll say about Mr. Kessler, he is very smart to continue to ask us to pitch into what he's trying to do. He's also doing things to make the community better, but I think other people in the community could take a lesson and learn from that strategy. You know, we're obviously going to benefit from this, but he didn't get to be such a good businessman without being a good businessman.
Well, it's just like the sewer project down there.
Yeah.
He went ahead and said that he would do some changes for us. And in the long run, if we had to do it later, it would have cost us about 10 times as much.
Yeah.
So he's,
He really does have the advantage of the equipment that he owns,
Yeah.
and being mobilized. They were already in that area, dewatering, so we really benefited from him
yeah,
doing the work that he was doing.
moved his equipment in there now.
We
Some
have
of it.
a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion, comments? Does anybody,
Who seconded it? Jen?
Me.
Okay, so I thought.
anybody feel particularly hurt by this concept? All right, then I would
Let me-
ask,
Karen, when you're talking with them, ask the county what they thought they were gonna do with that side of the road.
I will do that. I will ask.
And if this is gonna make a difference.
any other questions, advice for Karen? Roll
Mr.
call
Rose,
vote?
okay, Mr. Rosecrans?
Yes,
Ms. Butler Challenger, yes. Mr. Felix Bliss?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes,
Ms. Kellerman?
Yes,
Ms. Hagerman?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for wrestling through that tonight, folks. That brings us to the superintendent's report.
Thank you. So there has been a great deal of end-of-the-year work, beginning-of-the-year work, in payroll and benefits, in W-2s and 1099s, and I will admit that elections have taken over. This staff is working hard, and I am very proud of them for the quality work that they do. I've never heard anyone say no, I won't help you with that. We have a team here that is willing to get in there and help in any way they can. I would offer that proposal 2 of 2022 has thrown us for a loop, but I will commend Clerk Challenger that she has taken the challenge and has just run with helping our community be able to vote in any way they choose to, and to make that happy, not happy, but successful for them. So I am proud of the efforts of this team. Other than that, I will keep my comments brief. We are also still looking for another police officer. We had some hiring interviews last week. We will be interviewing a couple of the candidates for the second round this week. So that never seems to be ending, but we can't pass it up when we have some quality candidates. So, and we continue hiring at the fire department as well. The 2 full-time positions are running very well, and they are allowing us to mobilize in ways we weren't able to before. So it's been a good thing to watch. And of course, we're not without growing pains, but we deal with things as they come up and continue rolling and serving the community. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, or at any time through email or phone call. I would just offer that I'm available to you.
Short.
Yes.
What is this?
That came from
Ray.
Mr. Kotke.
Oh, okay. Any questions for the superintendent? All right, that moves us then into public statement 2. This is a time for the public to have an additional 3 minutes on whatever topic they would like. Please step up to the lectern and introduce yourself if you're interested.
You may want to explain this.
Yes.
Okay.
That handout that I gave you was all of parcels that could potentially be placed in the environs of the Park Lake Nature Preserve and Trail. It would give us a great deal of green space for the township, and it is 99.99% already owned by the township. It just has to be delegated to a certain area. There has been talk, I'm not sure how unilateral that talk was about possibly putting low-income housing in some of that area. But anyway, some of it's underwater. I'll leave it at that. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I'm under a time limit here, so I have other things to talk about. Earthen berm. The dirt that he's taken out of there is going to be a great deal of dirt. And if we had an earthen berm from Hawk Ridge down to Nichols Road, it would just exponentially prevent so much sound coming from that highway, and potentially an errant semi-trailer and tractor from going into the neighborhood. You may want to think about that. That would be a very opportunistic way to get rid of some dirt and simply drive it across the road and dump it. Anyway, that's another one. You've spoken about the park and the Park Lake Trail and the headaches of having to wade through all of that stuff. This isn't new. You replaced some of the other people that brought this up back in 2015, and you're just hopefully furthering that wish of the people that want a trail and a park back there. It's nothing new again. One thing in that respect, Jack talked about the costs and having to have more DNR, or what do they call it?
DPW.
DPW.
I can never think of that
It's okay.
acronym. But anyway, we're growing. We're not going to go backwards. We're going to go forwards in regards to growth. So you're going to invariably have to hire some more DPW people anyway. So what I would propose is that you all take a look and write this down, please. And Karen's going to be tired of me for saying this, but Act 157 of 1905. Look it up. Michigan, you can just Google it. Act 157 of 1905. It's called the Township Parks and Places of Recreation Act. And it's a way for you to separate yourselves from having to worry about that minutia of parks. And it also addresses piers, wharves, places of water recreation. Anyway, it has its entirely own budget and everything. I think it'd be a fantastic idea for us to get in on this on the ground floor. And, that marsh, that drumheller, that's always been wet, and there's a reason for that. It's because nature's telling you, you have to have a low area to drain. And so don't fill it in all the way, because you will be sorry, I'll tell you that. Because that water's gonna go somewhere. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray.
That was 3 minutes and 35 seconds, I'm sorry.
We will deduct it from a future time when you're up there. Any other public want to? No. Then let's open it up to board member comments. Sherry, you want to start today?
I've said everything I had to say, I think. Thank you guys for coming.
Jack?
I've talked enough tonight.
Jennifer?
It was a good meeting, thanks.
I have 2 quick notes. I handed this out to each of the board members. On the lectern is some extra copies. Our state representative and state senator are having a community conversation a week from today from 6 to 7 at the Bath Township Public Library, 14051 Webster Road. This is a great chance for community members to interact with their elected officials when they are in their local community. Lucky for us, these folks are in our local community often because they're able to live and drive to their day job from here. But if you want to talk to Representative Cernoglu or Senator Singh, they'll be here next week on Monday at the library. And the other thing I wanted to share with you all, I was invited this morning to go to an MEDC event talking about the new small business hubs legislation that the governor put through and ultimately MEDC supported. There are 27 small business hubs across the state. In our region, LEAP is our hub. They got just over $3 million over the course of 3 years to be a small business hub. And SBAM, the Small Business Association of Michigan, is also a hub. They're statewide in nature. They hosted a meeting this morning to celebrate the designation of the hubs between SBAM and MEDC. And what I thought was just a real testament to what we've been doing here in the township. 2 communities were featured, invited by LEAP to represent the power of these hubs in the work. Bath was one of them, and St. John's City was the other one. We were the only communities that spoke. We were the only communities that had airtime. So it was really nice to see both Clinton County getting some airtime in downtown Lansing with partners like this, and also obviously Bath Township. So I talked about the work that MEDC and LEAP has done with us to have the Norm Fasteners project. I invited them all to come and visit Bath. I asked them how many of them had been to Bath, and about half of them would raise their hand, and I told them, no, that's false. You've all been to Bath. You just didn't know you were in Bath, and explained why that was. It was really nice to have that attention. It was about 100 people invited by MEDC, and former Lieutenant Governor Brian Calley was there. He's now the leader of SBAM. It was a really nice platform for us, so I thank them for inviting me. It was a great time to talk about our work. I will also say I had several people come up to me from MEDC and from LEAP and thank us for our staff, saying that we had incredibly professional staff, that they work with communities all over the region, and that's not always the case, and sometimes they have to do a lot more legwork, and they are working with folks that may not necessarily know what they're doing. I just heard over and over again that our staff is doing a top-rated job in this area, and we should be proud of them. So I thought I would share that all with you, and Karen, that includes you, but I hope you'll share that with the staff. It's nice to show up, you know, on behalf of Bath Township and have people say really nice things about us. So it was a lovely event. Proud to represent the team. That's it for me.
I just want to encourage the residents to get their ballot applications and the ballots returned as soon as possible. So there's not, no mail time delay or anything. It's better to get it in sooner rather than later.
I have nothing.
I have just a couple things to kind of piggyback off of your, you've been in Bath Township, but you don't know you've been in Bath Township comment. I've attended now a couple planning commission meetings so far this year, and that's a topic that's come up at both of our meetings is signage around our community. the fact that people are in our community and there's not much to obviously let them know that they are in our community, whether it's the businesses over on Saginaw, the new Ace Hardware, Meyer, or golf courses or such, just to let them know that they are in Bath Township. And that's come up at the planning commission, in both of the meetings that I've been to, and they asked that I relay that to the board. But, sort of partnered with that also goes with what we were talking about earlier, that there was some sentiment from the discussion that came out of that these are things that have come up. This has come up before. Hey, didn't we start a thing and wasn't there some money for this? And didn't we have a so-and-so and so-and-so? And just kind of this overall sentiment that over the years, they feel like maybe things keep coming up and then maybe get started, and then there's some sort of change in the makeup of groups, and then it slips through the cracks, and some sort of system, sort of what you were alluding to before, what is the power of these boards, what is the power of these groups, and they specifically mentioned that they like the idea, of course, of some more bottom to top action as well as top to bottom action in terms of generating ideas and starting projects and creating initiatives to try and get some things done, as well as management of those projects in terms of putting somebody in charge of it, putting a timeline on things, putting some checkpoints and follow-ups so that things aren't slipping through the cracks between committee to board to whomever, now that maybe things are more stable for the time being. So I wanted to relay that.
Kate, I'm glad you brought this up, the identifying you're in Bath Township, which has been brought up. You can start by having somebody on the planning commission go to Dunkin' Donuts and take down the sign that says, "Welcome to East Lansing Dunkin' Donuts" inside their place, and put up Bath Township. I won't go back there till they take it down. I will not. That irritates the daylights out of me.
And it is that weird Bermuda Triangle of Hazlet, East Lansing, Bath Township, where they just overlap. I grew up in it, so my address was East Lansing and my phone number was Hazlet, but I went to Bath schools and you're everywhere and nowhere, all at once. So I definitely think that that's a need around the township. So.
I echo the concerns. This is the fourth board, not in its entirety, but the fourth board that I've worked with. And some of those ideas have come up. Paula Clark was a huge proponent of a signage plan to help people understand not only that they were in Bath Township, but that wayfinding to some of the beautiful things that we have here in the township. I would offer to you that the problem here is no different than when I worked in the legislature, unfortunately. Every 4 years, you see a new group of people, and they have different goals and objectives. And so some of those things like a signage plan get lost. And it can be frustrating because if you're waiting for a trail or you're waiting for a signage plan or you're waiting for a thing to go through the process and come to some finality, you don't always get that. And I can understand the frustration of the residents and the staff and the board. So it's something that I hope we can all continue to work on. I sense an openness and a willingness of this group to take on some of those things, and I really appreciate that. So thank you for bringing that up.
Didn't we print maps?
Huh?
Didn't we print a trifold map that had the designators?
We did at one point. It was a Parks and Recreation
Yes,
map,
that's right.
honestly.
I will say, Kay, I called Karen like 3 weeks ago when I saw that new East Lansing sign over on Chandler Road, which is not in East Lansing. I'm mad about it. Karen sort of chuckled, but I don't know who had the authority to put that sign there. It's technically sitting in DeWitt Township, but on the other side is Bath Township. It's sort of like an East Lansing thing to just like go wherever you want and put up a sign or whatever you like. So that's the first sign I think we should switch over. Just like paint right over it and say, "Welcome to Bath Township." Go ahead, Al.
The fire truck, how is the committee coming on looking into the price and
The new fire trucks.
the amount of money that we're gonna have to
The committee has been plagued by illness, so we have not yet met, and it is not any one individual's fault, but at each time, one of us at least was ill.
With COVID.
I think,
Yep.
I wasn't gonna say that.
at it.
I think we're all at 100% now, so we will be meeting soon. We are meeting tomorrow to talk about when we're gonna first meet and what the agenda will be. I shared with these two women this evening, I'm concerned about the timeline. They shared they are too, so we will get on it.
Did you ever find any money?
I have not.
Did you get back far enough?
I don't know if I've gone too far back or not far enough back, so I continue to look for that. I've discovered that I feel like more of our minutes need to be, digitized, just because it would ease looking for things.
Yeah.
If it was text recognized and I could search for things, but unfortunately, they're big books that you get to pour
Right.
through.
That's like a great intern activity.
Do we have those?
Maybe you should. All right, folks, it's been great to see you after a month away. We've got lots to do this year. I'm looking forward to working with you all. With that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Let's do a voice vote. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We stand adjourned.